Forgive the bum notes, I hope you're not including the sound on this.
Grew up listening to the Beatles, the Stones, Lonnie, is that right?
Well, I did, yeah, but I also had earlier influences because my sister, who's 6 years older than me, which looking back on it, I'm very pleased. When she actually heard the very first really early rock and roll records, and she met a boyfriend who actually she's still married to now, believe it or not, and they bought a load of rock and roll records, you know, really old stuff. And my mum and dad used to like music, but it was pretty old-fashioned stuff, you know. But I suppose in terms of pop music, the first really big, incredible influences, obviously the Beatles and the Stones, and you know the Small Faces as well, you know, the Kinks and all of those bands. At the time, I was living in near Birmingham, in the Midlands, probably about 10 miles away, in a very bit of an isolated place, really. So,
What prompted you to pick up an instrument? What was the first instrument you played?
the first instrument I played was a bass,
How unusual.
and it was my sister. There were a few like local clubs and things like that, but they were just had local pop bands on, you know, nobody famous. But I used to sort of, please can I come? No, you can't, you're too young. But in the end, she took me in to one of these places, and I can remember the name of the band. They were called the Strollers. It was like a local band, and they all had sort of striped waistcoats. But when I heard the bass, I couldn't take my eyes off the bass player. I couldn't stop. All I listened to all night long was the bass. The depth of it, and I just thought that's what I want to do.
Now, the bass as an instrument was pretty much in its infancy in the mid-'60s.
It was.
What were some of the limitations you had to overcome?
When you're innocent and you don't really know what's going on, there's nothing really to overcome. You just start playing it, and you know, I wasn't very good at it. And but my dad, bless his heart, found somebody had advertised bass guitar lessons, and I went to a chap who played piano, and he played upright bass and stuff. But he also had a bass guitar, and he taught me a good technique, which has stayed with me.
Believe that, you're believing
John Lingwood, my friend, the drummer.
There you go.
Typical drummer.